Guess who's back? Back again. Nathan's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle, and if you haven't been here before, or if you just forgot, because it has been quite a while since we've done this is WNBA Weekly, the show where twice a week, usually on Fridays and Mondays, I will talk about things that happened recently in the association and things that I'm looking forward to in the coming days. And the fact that I'm standing here in front of you means one thing: the Olympic break is over. WNBA 20th season is now back in full swing. The stars have returned from overseas. They're back with their respective teams. And we've all got about like 9 or 10 games left in the season. So let's get right down to it. You know, for those of you who don't quite remember, need just a quickie catch up, let's see where we left off just before the break started. The Minnesota Lynx, they had a fantastic start to the season, struggled a little bit, but then they got their act back together. They now currently own the longest winning streak in the league at 6 straight games. They now have 21 wins. They're only half a game behind the Los Angeles Sparks, who also have 21 wins, but Los Angeles has one less loss. They both clinched the playoff berth already. And then the second longest winning streak in the league currently belongs to the Indiana Fever, who have put together 3 straight and are now back at 500. And then the third longest winning streak in the league, the Connecticut Sun. And surprisingly, that winning streak has put them right back in the playoff conversation. They've been fighting for last place all year long, but now 2 straight victories and suddenly they're only a single game out of the playoffs. They've had a lot of help though. For one thing, there have been quite a few losing streaks in the league. You've got the San Antonio Stars, who, they're sitting in dead last, which I think most people expected anyways. They're currently on a 5-game losing streak, and that's only the 3rd worst in the league. The longest losing streak in the league right now is the Mystics. Washington has lost 7 straight games, and yet surprisingly are still in the playoffs. So that tells you something about how their season has gone. They haven't really played that bad until recently, because they've lost 7 straight. And now, even though they have the 8th seed, Seattle still has the exact same record as them, and Dallas, despite losing 6 games in a row of their own right now, they are only half a game behind them, and half a game in front of Connecticut. So right now, the way that this season is holding up, you've got the top 3 teams in the league who nobody is beating except the other 2 that are in the top 3. Then you've got this jumbled mess in the middle, a bunch of playoff teams that they're gonna be in the postseason. Right now it's just a matter of determining the seeding. And then you've got this jumbled mess down here, all fighting for that last playoff spot. And then you've got the San Antonio Stars in dead last. Nobody's gonna beat them for that. So now that you've been all caught up, here are your current standings. So now that we've gotten you all caught up, let's look at the schedule for our Welcome Back weekend. We've got a full slate of games, and as always, I will tell you which ones are currently scheduled to air nationally, which means that everybody can watch them. And for the other games, just be sure to check your local listings, or you can watch every single game on WNBA League Pass. And don't forget that the times I announce are Eastern Standard Time, so be sure to adjust for your time zone. Also, I just need to express the fact that there are a lot of games being played, but in a relatively condensed amount of time. So I'm going to focus most heavily on the games that have playoff implications for both teams involved. Which means you're almost never going to hear me mention the Stars again. At least not for the rest of this season. On Friday, you've got a full slate of action, 5 games that are being played, including a doubleheader on NBA TV. The games that stand out to me the most, you've got one of the earliest ones. You've got the Lynx at the Sun, and the Lynx coming back from an Olympic break, which really wasn't as much of a break for them because almost their entire starting lineup was playing overseas this whole time. And now they're facing against a Sun team that is looking their absolute best right now and already handed Minnesota one of the few losses that they have this year. So this could be a chance for Connecticut to come in, make a strong statement win, and if things go right for them, they could be in the playoffs by the end of tonight. And then you've got the Dream versus the Sky. They're one of that. These two teams are part of that little bunched up middle section where you've got these 4 teams that you know are gonna make the playoffs, and it's just a matter of how well do they finish down the stretch, how high can they get into the standings. So that definitely makes this one interesting to watch. And then of course you've got the Sparks at the Storm. The Sparks, they're always gonna be worth watching just because Candace Parker's an amazing athlete. Nneka's having an amazing season. She's getting a lot of attention, possibly MVP at the end of the year. Who knows? Also the fact that you've got the Storm, they've got Stewie who somehow got a roster spot over Candace Parker. No offense to Stewie, but it's Candace Parker and she is in her prime right now. There is no reason for her not to be on the Olympic team. But whatever, I digress. Either way, it's always fun to watch the Sparks play. They're trying to continue their dominance and keep their place as the top of the league, while you have the Storm who, as I said, they've got the exact same record as the 8th seeded playoff team right now. So they're good enough to be in, and it's just a matter of a few tiebreakers here and there. So if they can win down the stretch, they have a good chance of getting that postseason berth. On Saturday, there's only one game in action, the Mystics at the Fever. It is on NBA TV. You're free to check it out if you want. However, the Mystics, they're the top of the bottom right now. It's hard to have any faith in this team. So, it's just for me, it's not a team that's fun to talk about right now. I had hopes for them coming into the season. I had very high hopes for them. Go back to before the season started, a lot of my earliest videos, I had said a lot of great things to say about the Mystics. And they just keep proving me wrong. Then on Sunday, you've got another full schedule, 5 games in action, one of them on NBA TV, another one on ESPN3, and a doubleheader on ESPN2. So you've got a full slate of action, so just plop yourself in front of your TV and enjoy it. Unless you're one of those unlucky people who works Sunday afternoon/nights, in which case, I feel bad for you. My condolences. I'm going to have fun watching those games. That's it for this edition of WNBA Weekly. Tune in on Monday for the next all-new episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that other bullshit. And until the next time you see my face in a video, my name is Nathan Lyle. This has been The Fan Perspective. I hope you have a great weekend. I know I'm going to. WNBA is back, baby. Woo!